show you another type of sourdough, and this is a ciabatta. And the difference with ciabatta than what we did earlier is ciabatta is a wetter dough. Now we're not going to make it quite as wet, like 80%, like some doughs require. We're just going to change our basic dough that I gave you, 800, 460, 320. We're going to add 100 grams of water. So you're going to have 800 grams flour, 560 grams of water. So it's going to be a little bit wetter. And it's going to have a little bit more stickiness to it, but that's what we want. And so I just cut out a portion of the dough, placed it in a little round, and then as it relaxes, it's easier to move into a ciabatta shape. Ciabatta means slipper, so it's about the size of a shoe. And the way we rest it though is we take a towel on a sheet pan and we press some flour directly into that towel. So now we're not using a banneton, we're just using a flat towel, and that's going to give us a little different result because this is wet. And ciabatta is a rustic dough, so it does not require a lot of shaping. That's what's going to give it that nice airy crumb. So once you get into the slipper, flip it over and then right directly onto your floured towel. Be pretty generous with your flour around there. So you don't want it to stick whenever we bring it off. Okay, it just rests like that. Very, very simple. Don't overwork it. Don't overthink it. And then we'll just cover that up for a bit, and we'll let that rest for at least 30 minutes. You can let it rest in the fridge for longer. So I'll show you here. This is what they look like after they've rested. See, they puffed up nicely. They're real soft, holds that indentation. So now we're going to go into the oven with them. And I have to bring these off the pan and put my floured board here. And just flip it over on that floured board. Stretch it a little bit under. Yeah. And then you dimple it with your fingers, like so. And this is going to go into the oven directly on some baking tiles. You might have a baking stone, and you can see that right in there. I'll do the other one quickly. That will go in on the other side. I'll stretch that just a little bit. Then the other piece is we want to add some steam. And you can see I've got an old pie pan and an old piece of tile, and that's holding heat. And I'm going to toss this in and close the door. And that's going to generate enough steam to create the oven spring, and it's going to create the kind of crust that looks really nice that professionals get. Be very careful with that technique though, because it could blow back into your face, but add just a half a cup of cold water will give it enough steam inside there. You'll see recipes or techniques recommend spraying it with water, spraying it down. It just doesn't get the kind of steam. This technique mimics the steam in a professional baking oven. So we'll let that go for about 30 minutes. And then we'll check that. And you can see our finished product here, what it looks like. And I like the color. If you want it a little darker, you can leave it on a little a little longer. You can see that is the shape. We'll cut one open here. Let you see what it looks like. There you go. That's what the wetter dough gives you, are those nice big airy holes in it. And that's what makes ciabatta unique.